And it is time to get started. Hey, welcome to At the Track Live. I am Coach James. I am the creator of and lead instructor for All About Aerodynamics. What is All About Aerodynamics, you ask? Glad you asked. Even if you didn't ask, All About Aerodynamics, right here. All About Aerodynamics is a science program where I use Hot Wheels cars to teach kindergarten through 6th grade students about a range of science and physics related topics, including but not limited to friction, force, aerodynamics, drag, lift, Isaac Newton and his 3 laws of motion, kinetic energy, potential energy, a whole range of science topics. After we've gone through all of the science topics, after we've conducted experiments to drive home those concepts, then and only then do I bring in about 400 different Hot Wheels cars, and each student has the opportunity to select a Hot Wheels car they think would be fastest in a series of races based on everything that they have learned in the class. After they've picked their cars, they examine their cars, they take a picture of their cars, they shoot a video of their cars, they weigh their cars, they test the speed of their cars, they check the year the car was manufactured. All of the information that they can observe, they put into a spreadsheet. And then once they have all that information, once they've learned the science, once they've picked their cars, once they've made their observations, then they set up a 1/64th scale quarter-mile drag strip, and we have a tournament, and we race the cars. Once we are doing that, then they have an opportunity to see their car and find out if their car performed up to or below their expectations, and if they had the opportunity, would they select that car again, or would they pick a different car based on everything that they have seen and observed. So at the end of the day, we have fun with Hot Wheels cars, we learn science. What could be better? If you would like more information about our science program, All About Aerodynamics, and how to bring it to your school or your organization or your special event, you can go to our website, aaerodynamics.com, or you can follow us on Instagram, aaerodynamics, and all of the information that you need is in the bio, information to contact me, and I can answer any questions that you may have about the program. But this is not all about aerodynamics. This is all about Aerodynamics Presents At the Track Live. So, what is At the Track Live? Well, before I can bring in all those cars for the students to use, I have to make sure that I have cataloged and taken account of all of the cars that I have so that I can easily distribute them to the students for them to use, and then once they're done, put them back in the right place so that they're ready to go for the next group of students. But before I can do that, I have to catalog the cars myself. So I have to take a picture, shoot a little video, get the name of the car, the year it was manufactured, all of that, put it into a master spreadsheet, and then the car is ready to go. But that was a boring process. So about, I guess over a year ago, I created At the Track Live, and the idea was that I would go into my storage unit, grab out a bunch of Hot Wheels that I haven't opened, open those up, and live on YouTube and Twitch, I would do a little review of the cars, get my picture, get my video, enter the information into the spreadsheet, and since the track is already set up, then have a little mini tournament and see which of these cars is the fastest. But since it's live, you can participate. How can you participate? Well, you can go to atthetrack.live, and you're going to see three options. There's going to be the YouTube stream link, the Twitch stream link, which you don't need because you're already watching, But the third link is the third most important link, and that is the link that says choose a car. If you go to that link, you will be taken to this page. And on this page, you will get to see all of the cars that I have cataloged and entered into the system. And we are currently up to, let me check my spreadsheet, which is the whole reason why I keep this. We have currently 865 different cars in the fleet, and all of those cars are listed on the website. When you go to atthetrack.live and select the choose a car option, you'll be taken to this page where you can scroll through and see all of the cars in the fleet. We have just a complete range of Hot Wheels cars. We have cars from the 70s, cars from the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s. We have some cars that have just been released in the last couple of weeks. We have character cars. We have cars based and designed around animals, around insects, around dinosaurs, around wolves, around all kinds of things. We have character cars. We have Batmobiles. We have plenty of Batmobiles. We have more than a dozen Batmobiles. We have Lamborghinis, we have Ferraris, we have trucks, we have race cars, we have absurdly ridiculous cars like this number 234, this old 442 with the huge donk wheels. And we have cars that are shaped like fish. We have fire trucks, we have a couple of tanks, we have cars based off of boats, an ice cream truck, a taco truck. We have just every type of Hot Wheels car you can imagine, and we're adding more all the time. There are, there are cars with gimmicks like the Bubble-matic, which can, this top piece, this ring, can flip up and you can stick it into some soapy water and blow bubbles if that's what you plan to do. We have a car with a wrench on the back. We have a car with a toilet seat on the back. We have Star Wars cars. We have Stormtrooper, Darth Vader. We have a Luke Skywalker car. We have an X-Wing fighter car. We have a Millennium Falcon car. So if Star Wars is your thing, we've got you covered. Corvettes, trucks, the entire range. So all you have to do is scroll through, look at, there's a rubber ducky, the duck and roll right here. Whatever kind of car you are into, you are interested in, if we don't have that exact car, we have something similar in the range, and we might be able to make arrangements down the line to get the exact car that you're talking about. We've got a donut car. We've got another car that is has a toaster on the back with 2 pieces of bread popping up. All you have to do is scroll through, find the car that you think would be the fastest, and take the number of that car and drop it into the chat. Once you do that, I will pull that car and we will enter it into the day's tournament. If you think it is this 68 Plymouth Barracuda Formula S, it's a good looking car, then all you have to do is take the number, drop it in the chat. I will pull the car, and that is how it all works. And your car will be entered into the tournament. We will race the cars, and if you happen to pick the fastest car, then you will have the opportunity to race our fastest in fleet car. And you might say, okay, so what is the fastest in fleet car? Well, the fastest in fleet car is the car that has beaten out all of the other cars that it has faced, and the car that wins the Saturday tournament faces off against the fastest in fleet car. And that fastest in fleet car for the past couple of months has been this one, the Blitz Speeder. The Blitz Speeder is the fastest Hot Wheels car on the planet. It has beaten out every car that it has faced. It is, without question, one of the fastest Hot Wheels cars we've ever seen on our track. And it is currently in its second stint as fastest in fleet champion. It was champion for 17 weeks. in 2024. Then it lost, and then 16 weeks after that, it came back, beat the car that beat it, and now it is once again our fastest in fleet car. So that is the car that at the end of today's episode, some car is going to have the opportunity to take on the Blitzspeeder and see if it can become our new fastest in fleet champion. So we are going to get into that. Hey, Christopher, how you doing? Yep, I've got we're going to have the Christopher's viewer who made a pick, and we're going to have a special matchup because of the two cars that he picked. There's some similarities there, and we're going to find out which of those two is the best of that type of Hot Wheels cars. So we've got that coming up. We also have another viewer pick that is an extremely unique car that has some features that it's just such a unique car that we're going to get into it. We're going to look at it, and we are going to figure out why it may do well, why it may not do well. But at the end of by the end of the day, we are going to have all these cars on the track, and we are going to find out which car is in fact the fastest. So what we have in store today is unique. It's very unique for All About Aerodynamics, for At the Track Live, because it turns out that this is the 100th episode of At the Track Live, and who knew? I knew we were getting close, but I was checking on the YouTube page where you can see all of the episodes of At the Track Live from beginning to today, and I was going back and I realized by the number count on YouTube that last week was episode number 99, so this is episode 100. So I was trying to think, what could I do that would be special to commemorate the 100th episode of At the Track Live? And I figured something out as I was going back to watch some of those old episodes. And it's funny because I started doing this so I could catalog the cars, but also so that I could get practice presenting online and in a live environment, so that ultimately when I conduct online classes, then I'm more comfortable with my setup here. When it's live, if things go wrong, which things tend to go wrong, I can troubleshoot those in real time, and it's really just practice. And when I went back and watched some of the first episodes, when I was just trying to figure out what At the Track Live was going to be and how I was going to approach it, there's definitely a difference between then and now. And one is I figured out the format and the structure and how the episodes should move. So some of the early episodes are a little slower, a little disjointed, but I'm just trying to work it out and figure things out, and I'm still doing that. So I'm sure when I get to episode 200, I'll look back at episode 100 and say, wow, I really could have improved some things here and there. But here's where we are, and it's just a learning experience for me, and just having fun with Hot Wheels cars, and the practical part is getting the cars into the fleet. So all that said, what I decided to do for the 100th episode is go back from the beginning of At the Track Live until now and take all of the fastest in fleet cars, all of our champions, and bring them all back and have a massive champion versus champion versus champion tournament. And there's certain cars that I remember because, like I said, the Blitzspeeder was champion for 17 weeks. It's been champion for the last 2 months. In between those two runs, the Gazella R was the champion, and car was the champion for 16 weeks. Before that, we had the Draftnator, the Track Tune, and another car that I'm forgetting that were champions for a long time. So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, we'll probably have a handful of cars that were champions. But when I went back to go look at those old episodes, what I realized was I didn't come up with the fastest in fleet concept until, 10 episodes in or several episodes. It was I'd gotten pretty far down the line before I came up with the idea of a fastest in fleet car, a champion that would race against the weekly tournament winner. So what ended up happening is I have a lot of cars that were the champion, but they won the tournament that week, and then I put them away, and then there was a new set of cars the next week, and then we had a champion there, and then I put those cars away, and then every week there was a new champion. So what happened, or what didn't happen, is the car that was champion, let's say in week number 2, never faced the champion from week 3. And the car that was champion in week 3 never faced the car that was champion in week 4. So it wasn't until I came up with the fastest in fleet idea that we started having the winner of the Saturday tournament face the champion car. And so, all that's to say that there are not a handful of cars. There are 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22. There are 22 cars, if we include the Blitz Speeder, which at the end of the day, one of these cars will face. That is 23 different championship cars that are going to be competing today. So this is going to be a different episode than what we usually do. Usually we introduce about 6 different cars and have the tournament, have the races, and then the winner of that tournament faces off against the champ, in this case the Blitz Speeder. Today's going to be different. Today is just going to be like race, and we may be here. Usually the episodes run about right around 2 hours. We may be here longer because there are a lot of cars to race. And we're basically racing 3 times as many cars as we do on a regular episode. But we are going to need to sort of go through the cars, take a look, and then in that mix, then we'll also be racing Christopher's pick, Roughshod's pick, and any other picks that come in before we get started and hit the track. So I think what I'm going to do is go through and just we're going to go through and look at these champion cars, all 23 from. These are cars that have all, at one point or another, were all champions. We didn't necessarily have the fastest in fleet concept, so there wasn't an opportunity to do that. But these cars were all, in fact, champions. So let's go ahead, and I'll take out the Blitz Speeder. We'll sit that to the side. And let's start. So with the very first, this wasn't the first car that won a race. This was the first car that had the label fastest in fleet. So when I came up with the idea, the first car that was a fastest in fleet car and had that name, and I was using that language, was this one. Let's switch over here. It is the What 42, and that's the car. That was our first fastest in fleet car. It was, I forget how many cars it beat on that particular episode, But this was it. So it's kind of fitting that our first fastest in fleet car was a fantasy car, because we have seen fantasy cars do pretty well, and I would say, in looking at these cars, the majority are fantasy cars. Some with a little more wild designs than others, but they are all fantasy cars nonetheless. So the What For 2, that was our first fastest in fleet car. And right now, based on everything we've seen from the Gazella R, from the Blitzspeeder, it's kind of hard to imagine this car being in the class with those, just because it's got so many of these different elements, these engines sticking up and things like that, and it doesn't have the same profile as the types of cars that we have seen do well on the track. But nevertheless, it was our first fastest in fleet champion. So that is the What For 2. We have that. So I'll just go from right to left. This is not necessarily in order of how these cars became fastest in fleet champion, because I just pulled them out and put them so I could have them ready to race. This is the Impavado. What is this one? The Impavado 1, which is a fantasy car, but you can see it's got all the elements that, I see a little bit of Lamborghini in there, a little bit of Bugatti, and it's a fantasy car that was also a fastest in fleet champion. If we take a look, this does fall in line more with the types of cars we've seen do well recently. Cars that have that very smooth transition from the hood to the windshield to the roof, and then have a wing at the back at the roof line, and a flat back end, in this case a wide wing, to press right up against the launching block and give it a good solid push out of the box. So we've got the Impavado 1, that is there. Another car that was a champion is this one, this Custom 68 Camaro, which I really like this car. I like the design, I like the colors, I like pretty much everything about it. And this Custom 68 Camaro, this was one of our fastest in fleet cars. And it's definitely a more traditional car. I mean, more traditional than a fantasy car, but it has definitely all kinds of little added pieces and elements and things like that. We've got the big splitter right there at the front, and just some like the flares on the fenders, and unique kind of back end. So this is the 68 Camaro, and it was also a champion. One that I believe that we saw race again recently, or perhaps it was one that was in the wind tunnel. Either way, the Lamborghini Sesto Elemento, this one, was also a fastest in fleet car. And of course it's got the sort of classic traditional Lamborghini styling, but it's also, as a part of that smooth transition from the hood to the windshield to the roof, and then it's got the wing at the back. So there are some design similarities and themes and things that we have seen with the cars that have been our fastest in fleet champions. So the Lamborghini, pretty traditional. Then we get into a bit of a non-traditional, not a bit, a very non-traditional type of car. This one, the Chevrolet And it is a sleek, low-profile car. And with this one, when we talk about that smooth transition from the hood to the roof, to the windshield, to the roof, well, this has no windshield and no roof, so it's all just flat surface area. And we have seen cars like this that are just flat across the top do well. And we have a program, Wind Tunnel Wednesday, where we take cars and put them inside of the Winsible, the Funtech Labs Winsible, the 1/64th scale wind tunnel. And we check those cars out, and we can see how the air flows over, under, and around those cars. And we can get a sense for the amount of drag that a car is going to encounter as it races down the track. And certain designs, certain car styles, lessen the amount of drag. And by lessening the amount of drag, the cars have an opportunity to move forward down the track at a faster rate of speed. So the Chevrolet, I'm not sure with these, so I didn't write down how many weeks these cars stayed champion. And like I said, in some cases, these cars were not, they came before the fastest in fleet concept. So this car may have won its tournament and not faced another car again. Like, I just put it away and we started up the next week. So we've got the Chevrolet right there. And I can definitely see why this car would be a fastest in fleet candidate. And it is going to be hitting the track once again. We have this one, the Thunderstreak, which is more of an F1 style kind of race car. And it is, I believe it's all metal. And it was fastest in fleet champion. And this is definitely one that came before, I'm pretty sure, I think this one came before the fastest in fleet concept. So it raced a few times, but it didn't go up against a car that won the tournament the next week. So some of these cars, it's going to be interesting because we know they were fast, at least in their small sample size, their tournament. And the question is, are they really fast? Are they fast enough to be in the category with the Blitz Speeders, with the Gazella R's, with the Track Tunes? All of those, we're going to find out, because these are all championship cars going back from the first episode all the way up until last week. So 99 episodes. These are the fastest cars that we found in that time span. And it is going to be interesting to see if any of these older cars, older championship cars, which never got to compete again, can they beat out some of the newer cars that have been competing week in and week out. Virgo, Roughshod is on it. Oh yeah, no problem. We've got Roughshod's car is it's ready, it's lined up, and it will be racing. But we still got all these other former championship cars to go through. And this one is another one. This was the Jaguar D-Type, and this is another of those cars that I don't think it raced beyond it. It was around before the fastest in fleet concept, and so I don't know how many cars it raced beyond the cars that it raced in the episode it was in. It is a heavier car, and I think there was a period where I went to Hot Wheels swap meet, and I bought a bunch of 90s Hot Wheels cars, which a lot of those tend to be heavier and metal on metal, and so they're not necessarily able to compete with some of the lighter cars that are plastic on metal. But what we do have is the knowledge that this was a championship car. It won its tournament. So now it's going to have the opportunity to show and prove, can it beat out the more modern cars, the cars that are the champions. So we've got a strange design here. I mean, everything about it, it's the flat surface area, so we've talked about that. We have this flat surface area. We have a minimal kind of windshield. There's a little driver's cockpit, but then it's got this fin right here in the back, and it's only on one side, which is weird. Usually the cars that we've seen with fins, it'll be in the center, or there will be two fins, but I don't recall a car where we've just had the one fin on the one side. And so, that's part of the Saturday routine. I'm glad that I can be a part of that, and I'm glad that you can be a part of this as well. And yeah, this is just what we do. What else would I be doing at 11 a.m. on a Saturday morning? I don't know, but this is I enjoy this. This is a lot of fun, and I think today we're going to see the culmination of 100 episodes of At the Track Live. And like I said, it's been just a learning experience as once All About Aerodynamics was it was an in-person class that I did at schools with students, and then COVID hit, and then I ended up developing the online version. And I think everybody had this experience as Zoom became a thing, unless you were doing it before, which I hadn't even heard of Zoom or some of these other platforms before that. I had to learn. And when I go back and look at some of the early attempts and things that I was doing online, they're a little rough around the edges, but that's how it should be. And you grow and learn. And we are here, and this is the 100th episode. And I'm sure, like I said, when I get to episode 200, I'm going to look back at episode 100 and say, man, I can't believe I was doing that, or maybe I should have done this. But for right now, here we are, and we are having our 100th episode, our tournament of champions, and we are going to find which of these cars that has previously been a champion is going to be our new champion, or will the Blitzspeeder just remain the champion? So we have this Jaguar, what was it, Type D something, but I think that we see trends with when we put together all these cars that have done well on the track, that have been champions, and we look at the body styles, we start to see some trends. So if we don't have that that transition between the roof and the windshield and the hood, the windshield and the roof, then we're seeing cars that have just this completely flat surface area on the top, small driver's cockpit, but very minimal elements to really impact the airflow over, under, and around the car. So, yeah, Christopher, we may get around to doing a bus versus train race. Like I said, I have plans for a whole other Hot Wheels racing episode where we just do kind of random races, and it doesn't involve introducing new cars into the fleet. It's just sort of these matchups that you're kind of curious about. So that is probably something we would save for that, unless we get a really incredible performance out of one of these two trains. So we've got the Jaguar Type D. That was a fastest in fleet car. Then we have this one. the Governor. And the Governor was a surprise. At least that's what I said when I went back and was watching the episode. I said at the time, this was a surprise. And when we look, again, it's pretty flat. The surface area is pretty flat up top. It does have a more kind of Cadillac Batmobile theme. It's very much stretched out and exaggerated in typical Hot Wheels fantasy car fashion, but it's plastic. So this body's all plastic. It's sitting on a metal base, and it seems pretty hollow, pretty light. And I think it's got the larger tires in the front, slightly smaller tires. I'm sorry, the larger tires in the back, slightly smaller tires in the front. Good surface area in the back to press up against the launching block. And I think that the weight is part of the reason why this car did so well, is that it's light, but it's not kind of like the Ain't Fair, that bus, where it was large, but it was plastic predominantly, and it was very light. So I think maybe that's probably part of the reason why this car did well. Some of these cars are definitely going to end up in the wind tunnel on Wednesday. So every Wednesday at 4 p.m. On YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram, we do Wind Tunnel Wednesdays, where we put these cars into the wind tunnel and we can see the aerodynamic profile, how the air flows over, under, and around them. And we can get a sense for how we think they'll perform on the track. But in this case, we'll have seen how this car performs on the track, and then we'll be able to take a look in the wind tunnel and see if everything matches up. So that's the Governor. Another car that was unique that I definitely picked up at that Hot Wheels swap meet was this one, the Chaparral 2. And this is interesting because I had a couple of weeks there where I had these heavy, these all metal cars, but they were compact, but they were all metal. So they didn't have the same problems that we have with some of the other cars. Because usually if we get a car that's very light, or small, it's gonna be light. And then drag is going to impact it towards the back end of the track and slow it down. That's that. These cars were small, but they were not light. They're metal on metal, so they were pretty heavy. And in being a heavier car, I think it helped it not lose as much speed on the back end of the track, and it did well. So it was a champion. It won. I don't know that this was, I don't remember if this was before or after the whole fastest and fleet concept. So the what was it? The What 4.2, that was the first car where I used the term fastest and fleet, and we started having that tournament. So, but this car was a champion, the Chaparral 2, and I think when I'm looking at these cars, it is the only, maybe that Jaguar that I just showed is metal on metal, but I think this is the only other metal on metal car in the bunch. So we are going to see if its small size and its weight help it out. And I haven't been weighing each of these cars as I put them out there because there really wasn't a need to. But just for the sake of discussion, so this car weighs 40.8 grams, but it's small. If we compare it to the Governor, you can see just how small it is. But again, it's metal on metal, so it weighs more. And so it's 40.8, and I think that's probably one of the things that worked in its favor. So when it was the champion, How long it was the champion, I don't know, because the problem is that I didn't come up with the fastest and fleet concept until sometime later into the All About Aerodynamics at the Track Live discussion. Hey, Caitlin. Hey, Never Ending. How you doing? Glad you are here. We are we're just taking a look at our former at the Track Live champion cars, and this is, if you didn't know, this is the 100th episode of At the Track Live. And so what we are doing is we are bringing back all of the cars that were champions at some point in those, during those 100 episodes. Every car that was an All About Aerodynamics at the Track Live champion is being brought back, and we are going to have a massive race and tournament coming up with all of those cars. And then we've got Roughshod has a pick, Christopher has a pick, I see Never Ending's got a pick, and Caitlin is going to make a pick. So we'll get those cars in, and we are going to have the biggest tournament that we have had. I don't know how long it's going to take to work through all of these matchups and all of these cars, but we're going to do it. So however long we're here is however long we're here. This might be a marathon episode, but we are going to do it. So I'm just going through to take a look at some of these former championship cars, and we are going to see the, well, let's go ahead and let's skip ahead. Let me take a look. Okay, so Never Ending, he wants car 166. Let's see what that is. 166 is the Flash Drive. Okay. This is an interesting car because it's one of those cars, like a lot of these fantasy cars, where it's got such unique design elements to it that it's hard to know exactly how it's going to perform on the track. And Flash Drive. Just writing this down so I can go and pull it later. And you can see all kinds of different pieces of inspiration, but it's got so many just those elements to the left and right of the driver's compartment. The huge kind of splitter plastic thing coming out of the front, the unusual, I suppose we can call it a wing in the back, whatever that big white piece is. It's almost like it's got a gate on the back end. So this is definitely a car that on Wednesday we would put in the wind tunnel just to see what happens when the air is hitting these sort of strange elements on these cars. And we've seen different things happen in the wind tunnel that kind of give us an idea about what we see on the track and give us a little more information. But so that is Never Ending's pick, the Flash Drive. I will pull that car. And then, let's see. Caitlin has picked car number 193. Let's go down and see what that is. 193. Oh, okay. The Greenwood Corvette, the red one. And I specify red because this is a car that I had before. I got these cars before I decided to limit duplicate cars, so I think there's a blue one in here. Any car, if I specified that this is the red one, then there's another one of some other color in there. So Corvette, traditional supercar, and this one, I don't remember if I've seen this one race before or not, but I think that's a solid pick. So let me just put that down. It's 193. And it is the red Greenwood Corvette. All right. Oh, we're going to be here. Hope I should have packed a lunch, because this is going to be a lengthy race session that we are going to get into, and we've still got maybe 10 more championship cars to look at that are going to also be racing. This is the Low Lux. This is the car / truck that was definitely around after I came up with the fastest in fleet concept, and it was champion for a few weeks, and I believe it was champion long enough for me to make some Instagram promos hyping this car up. It is part pickup truck, part drag racing something. It's like this Frankenstein kind of thing where they just mashed up different styles of car, and for whatever reason, it was fast. If it performs particularly well today, then I'm sure it's one that we're going to take and have to look at in the wind tunnel to try and figure out why the car did so well. So it's one thing for a car to do well. It's another thing that we're trying to figure out why the car does well, so that we can then make better selections in terms of cars that can compete at the highest level on our track. So this is the Low Lux, and then we had this one. So this one, the Monoposto, I think maybe a couple of weeks ago, I think Roughshod picked a Monoposto to race, but I have two, and he picked the other one. This one was a championship car that I don't remember if it was before or after the fastest in fleet concept, but it was definitely champion, at least on the episode that it appeared in. And so because of that, it is back in the mix. But once again, we see this flat surface area. We have the little driver's cockpit here, but this windshield, even though the cockpit is open, this windshield does direct the air right up over the top there. And I think these were some of the elements, which is why Roughshod picked this car to begin with. He just picked the other one. And this one is one that actually won the tournament that it was involved in, and we're going to see what it can do today. And now this next one, this was an extremely unlikely winner. This car, the Crazy Eights, and it's just I don't even know what to say about this. There's no way that I expected this car to do well in the episodes, because I went back and watched the episodes because I had to check to find out which cars I needed to pull, and I was shocked in that episode that this car did well, and looking at it now, I'm still shocked that it did well. And if it does well today, then hey, then I'll have to reevaluate exactly what I think and what I think I know about these cars. But this was a car that was a winner and a champion early on, so it didn't really race any of the really top cars because, again, if it was before I came up with the fastest in fleet idea, then cars would just win on their Saturday tournament, and that was it. So some of these cars are getting a chance to race for the second time on At the Track Live, and this one, I don't know. It's got so much going on, and really it seems like it's got too much going on. Simple, the more simple designs seem to work better for these cars, but we're gonna find out. The Crazy Eights, it's crazy, all right, but we are gonna see. What is this? This one is the Road Rocket. Whoa, okay, I didn't know it did that. So we got the Road Rocket, which is this one. And as I was pulling it out, I noticed that it does this. That this lifts up like a funny car style. It is not going to race like that. It is going to race with the top down, but that's a cool little feature. We got the engine compartment there, and this car was another that won before the whole concept of fastest in fleet. But in looking at it, I can tell why it did well. Flat back end, so it's going to press right up against the launching block. Seems to be a wide car, which is always a plus. And this low profile, not a lot to impede the airflow. So I can see why this car did well. Doesn't weigh a lot. It's got this big heavy metal splitter at the front, but other than that, I see a lot of plastic. I think the base is metal, but other than that, this car should, it wouldn't surprise me if it did well, but we are starting to get closer and closer to kind of like the upper tier cars, those S tier cars that are just far and beyond anything we've seen before. We do have this one. We have this is from the Fast and Furious, like that cartoon Netflix series. This is the McAllister Motor Superfin. And this was a fastest in fleet car. It didn't have a long run because it ran into one of our like Hall of Fame cars. But pretty standard. I mean, just regular supercar. I see a little bit of kind of Ferrari, some Lotus in there, a little bit of Lamborghini, and there's nothing particularly wrong with this car. Now we talked about the monoposto, or the Jaguar that had the one fin. So this is a car that has two fins, and which is more traditional. So it's got the two fins and the wing, and we're gonna see what it can do against some of these cars that it's going to be matched up with. So there is that. Now we're getting into the cars that started to really become dominant cars. And the first one is this BMW M3 G2. It is this one. This car, and this may be, other than the we had the Lamborghini, the Camaro, and the Chaparral 2. So we have had cars based on real cars do well. And this car was one of them. This car with the large wing at the back, right at the roof line. This is, I think, when we first started to notice that idea of the roof line, the wing at the roof line being a thing and being kind of significant. This car stayed our fastest in fleet champion for some time. So the BMW M3 G2, standard traditional car, none of the strange, odd features of the fantasy cars, but this is what we've got. So we've got this one here, and then that one that was followed up by this 2015 Mazda Miata MX-5, and that is this car. And so even though this one's a convertible, we do see some of the same design elements that we saw in the BMW. The only significant difference is this one does not have a roof. The wing right at where the roof line would be. And yeah, this is pretty standard, but this was another car. It's got I see the big diffuser coming around the back that allows the air to flow up. And yeah, there was nothing about this car that made me think it was going to be dominant, but turns out it was, which is why you have to race the cars. So we've got the Mazda, and it's another car based on a real car. So it is not always the fantasy cars, but usually it's the fantasy cars. Then we had, this was another one. This was another surprise. This is a big surprise. The Draftnator. The Draftnator was the first car where I was really starting to believe this was the fastest Hot Wheels car on the planet, because it was destroying cars. And the fact that it's a truck made it even more surprising that even though it's a fantasy car, it's still basically a traditional pickup truck, and with the windshield at the standard angle, the roof line, and then the covered truck bed, and then the sort of big spoiler coming off the back. But for all intents and purposes, it's a pickup truck, and it was just destroying cars, and for quite some time. So this is when we started to get into those longer runs of the championship cars. We'd have the fastest and fleet cars, and they would just be champions for significant amounts of time. So this is the Draftnator, and I do expect the Draftnator to put in a good performance today. I'm definitely expecting that from the Draftnator based on everything we saw from this truck in the past. So we have the Draftnator. The Draftnator ended up going up against, and I think this is the car that beat it, the Track Tune. And the Track Tune, it was a surprise that it was as dominant, or that it beat the Draftnator, because we hadn't seen the Draftnator really have any competition. And then here comes this convertible, which I figured because it was a convertible, it wasn't going to be fast enough to beat the Draftnator. Turns out I was wrong, and it was. And it's also notable because this has the faster than ever wheels, so that means that the axles are nickel plated, which reduces the amount of friction and allows the wheels to spin freer. And the Track Tune came in, defeated the Draftnator, and moved on. The Track Tune, however, if I am remembering correctly, was beaten by the Blitzspeeder. So the Draftnator, champion for a long time, beaten by the Track Tune. Track Tune was champion for another week or two, and then the Blitzspeeder came in, boom, went on that 17-week run, and the rest is history. So the Track Tune is definitely a fast car. We're going to see what it can do today. Another one that was a surprise that it did well was this one, the Pterotractyl. And fantasy pickup truck, similar to the Draftnator, only in that it's a fantasy truck, but this is definitely more sporty. The lines are a little more sleek, and somehow, some way, this was our champion. And I don't remember if this was the fastest and fleet era champion, or if this was just a one-off Saturday tournament champion. But we are going to find out if the Pterotractyl has what it takes to compete with these top cars. So we've got the Pterotractyl. And let's see, we've got three more to take a look at. We have this one, which I believe has probably raced somewhat more recently, but the Group C fantasy car has definitely been, it's a popular pick. I've had people ask me about this car, want to see it race. It has raced, and it did win its tournament and was one of our fastest cars. And then ultimately it was beaten out, and so unless someone picks it, it doesn't get to hit the track very often. But the design, again, pretty sleek. We're going from the hood to the windshield with this kind of teardrop shape right across the roof line to the back of the car, and that's that. The back end of the car is flat, so it's going to press right up against that launching block, get a good solid push out of the launcher. And what happens after that? We are going to definitely find out. So we've got that car, the Group C Fantasy. Another car, very dominant, this one, the Solar Reflex. So the Solar Reflex was our fastest in fleet champion for some time. And what we see is right here, this flat surface area, nothing to impede the airflow at all. The air hits the front of the car, flows up, over, and off the back of this car. So this is very unique, and as a Hot Wheels car, oh, I see the drivers sit here off to the right and left. And this car, yeah, the back end, again, it's flat. That's important. Flat back end always helps. Seems to be a wide car, wide enough. And that this part, this is the key, that there is nothing impeding this airflow right here. So pressure drag is not going to end up being something that this car in particular has to worry about all that much. So that is the Solar Reflex. And of course, the last car, since we've already looked at the Blitz Speeder, but the last car is going to be, the last of our champion cars is this one, the Gazella R. And if you've been watching, since the end of last year, you know about the Gazella R. And this car came out of nowhere, beat the Blitz Speeder 2 out of 3 races, somehow, some way, and then went on just an incredible run, 16 weeks as champion. Then it went back and faced the Blitz Speeder in a rematch, and the Blitz Speeder absolutely just destroyed this car 2 straight races. And I don't know what happened with the Gazella, but the Gazella is going to have another opportunity today, because it's going to be facing some of these other cars. So we are set up with 23 of our former championship cars, including the Blitz Speeder and former champion, the Gazella. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go pull Neverending's car and Caitlin's cars, and then we'll take a look at those 2 cars, Roughshods pick, Christopher's pick, and then we'll be hitting the track for what is setting up to be just a marathon of a tournament. So I am gonna go find those cars, and in the meantime, as I am fond of saying, I have not taken the time to create any other music or any other bumper while I'm looking for those cars. So we get to hear the bathroom break music. It's going to say 5 minutes. It won't take me 5 minutes to get these cars, and then I'll come back. We'll take a look at those, and then we will be ready to hit the tracks. So just give me a minute to find these cars, and I'll be right back. Took me a second to find the flash drive just because it's in a special group, special case. Let's see. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look. We'll see. So we know that the Blitz Speeder, even though I didn't weigh those other championship cars, we know that the Blitz Speeder weighs in at 32.4 grams. And so that's kind of the gold standard. This flash drive, very unique, weighs in at 33.5 grams. So it is not outside of the sort of sweet spot in terms of weight, but this is the flash drive. It's definitely just unique, and it's really going to be hard to predict how this car will perform. There are so many of these, especially this is the area I'm looking at, these openings and these sort of bars and connecting structure. What will the air do as it flows over this car? And what we've tended to see when we put these cars in the wind tunnel is that the air on these types of cars hits this frontal area and comes up and then just disperses from this point. It just flies off the car. The air does not adhere to the body of the car. It just comes off. And when it does that, it creates a pressure drag, which we go into more detail about on Wednesdays. But rest assured, it works against the forward momentum of the car. But with this one, I don't know. This is one of the ones that we'll have to see perform on the track, and then we'll come back and evaluate it in the wind tunnel and see what we've got. As for Caitlin's Corvette, let's see what the weight is on that one. That is 34.9 grams. So again, it is a solid pick, and there is nothing wrong. The only thing that may be a concern is that it seems to be a narrow car, but the front is a little wider. It looks to be a little wider in the front, then it gets narrow and almost like an hourglass shape, but the back end is not as wide as the front, and we're going to see how that impacts this car. Is it going to be able to stay straight on the track, or is it going to bounce around? That is the question. Now we have Christopher's pick. We have the West Coast Flyer, and that weighs in at 36.6 grams. So it's right at the top end of the sort of range that we want to see, kind of that sweet spot between 32 and 36 grams. It's right there. And this is going to be interesting because it is obviously a train engine, and it's got the kind of this cylinder, this big cylindrical top. So we're going to see what happens as the air flows over that. We did put this in the wind tunnel on Wednesday, and air was flowing off the sides and around. So this is going to be interesting. We'll kind of have to watch and see how this car performs, and then come back and kind of put what we saw in the wind tunnel together with what we're seeing out of this one, and go from there. Now, the interesting part is that we have the West Coast Flyer, but then we also have the Loco Motorin, which is another Hot Wheels take on a train engine, but this one is based around Thomas the Tank Engine. And so, yes, it's a train engine, but it's got a different design to it. And we are going to see. Now, this front area is going to be a problem. The air is going to hit that and stack up, and what happens after that point, anybody's guess. Well, actually, we saw in the wind tunnel, so we kind of know. But how will that impact the performance? That part, we don't know. Let me check the weight on this one. It seems bigger, but is it heavier? Yes, it is. 39.4 grams. So we'll see which of those trains is going to be the biggest. Now, this is the most unusual of all the cars. We've got 23 championship cars, and the most unusual is Roughshods pick, which is weighing in at 28.2 grams. It is this one. It is the this is the Formula Solar. Yeah, Formula Solar. Or the Formula Solar, just depending on how you want to pronounce it. This one is just, it's basically been describing it as a surfboard, skateboard. But what I'm looking at are these little skinny disc wheels. And we have never had a car with these wheels perform well on our track ever. Not anything of note, but this one is just so stripped down, so bare bones. I'm concerned about the weight, though. I'm concerned two things. These wheels are my first concern because I have no confidence that these wheels are going to be able to kind of sustain that momentum. I don't know. But then the weight. And we have seen cars that are light in the 20s, in the sort of mid to high 20s. Drag tends to impact those cars at the back end. And what ends up happening is you can see it because those cars, the lighter cars, look like they're slowing down toward the back end of the track and they get passed. And we'll see if that is the case with this one. We had it in the wind tunnel. Everything there checked out. It looked pretty good. It's so thin. It's light. It's got these disc wheels. We are going to see exactly what is going to happen with this car, the Formula Solar or Solar, either way. Also, this part, it kind of lifts up a little bit, not fully like the car we were looking at earlier, but I'm hoping that as it's racing, this air doesn't get under there and lift this up, because if this does lift up during the race and air gets under there, it's going to slow the car down. So hopefully that doesn't happen. We've got the Formula Solar. We have the Locomotorin. We have the West Coast Flyer. We have the Greenwood Corvette. We have the Flash Drive. And we have 23 former All About Aerodynamics at the Track Live champion cars that are going to be racing momentarily. And it is going to just be a massive extended marathon of a tournament. It's going to be something like we've never seen before, but this is the 100th episode, so we had to do something special. When we go to the track, this is what you will be seeing. You will be seeing our 3-camera track view, and the cars will start at the top of the screen on the left. There is a launcher there. I will set the cars up. I will give a countdown. 3, 2, 1, race. I will hit the switch. The cars will come firing out of the launcher. They will go from top to bottom. They will pass out of the bottom of the screen. On the left, they will show up at the top of the screen. In the middle, they will go from top to bottom. They will pass out of the bottom of the screen in the middle, and they will show up at the top of our finish line camera. That is on the far right. The cars will be at the top of the screen. They will come down and they will cross the finish line. The car that wins the race will be indicated with a solid red light. A solid red light indicates the winning car. A flashing red light indicates the losing car. Now, if a car crashes and leaves the track, then we throw out the results of that race and just restart the race all over again. If a car crashes twice consecutively, then that car is eliminated. Why? Because if a car crashes twice consecutively, in the exact same way, there's some problem with the car. the launch it's getting that isn't going to be resolved by just rerunning the race over and over again. An important part is that a car has to leave the track. If it crashes but stays on the track, we've had cars that have crashed, ended up on the on the roof, upside down on the track, spun around the wrong way, but they did not leave the track. So even though they crashed, they just get disqualified or they lose the race. So a car needs to leave the track in order to qualify for a restart of the race. Beyond that, the cars switch lanes after each race. The races are best 2 out of 3, and we will just have an elimination style tournament until we get a winner. So I am ready. I hope you're ready. This is going to be quite the tournament. We have 23, 25, 27, 28 cars that are going to be racing. This is crazy. This is 4 times larger than what we usually do here at the Track Live, but it's our 100th episode. So let's go and hit the track. I will see you over there in 30 seconds. Okay, this is going to be wild. It's just the number of cars is just crazy. But let me double check. First things first, let me double check the audio. 1, 2. Yep, we're good. So we are going to have this massive 100th episode Tournament of Champions, and we're going to find out the best of the best, and maybe, just maybe, one of the cars that is the viewer pick is going to end up beating out one of our championship cars. So let's start off right off the top. We're going to go with the Impravato 1 against the Lamborghini Sesto Elemento. And let's get these cars lined up. The Lamborghini Sesto Elemento, I believe it may have, either we had it in the wind tunnel or it raced recently. But we are going to see what it can do. All of these cars are former champions. Some of them are fastest in fleet champions. Some of them just won their tournament on the day that they raced and have not been on the track since. But this is their chance to shine and maybe shake up the Hot Wheels world. So here we go. We've got the Impravato 1 in lane 1. We've got the Lamborghini Sesto Elemento in lane 2. Race 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. And the Impravato crashed, but wisely it left the track. So that means that the results of that race get thrown out. I was afraid that it was going to crash and just stay on the track. So it didn't, and therefore we will be running that race again. Also, what's notable is there are none of the cars, the taller cars. So sometimes we have taller vehicles in here, taller trucks, and I have to use a taller acrylic cover in order to help keep the cars on the track. So that is something that, now this Impravato doesn't want to stay in place, which is going to be a problem. Alright, and the Lamborghini, no such problems. Alright, got them lined up again. If this Improvato crashes again, it's disqualified, and we are moving on. But this is the race 1 restart. We've got the Improvato 1 against the Lamborghini Sesto Elemento in lane 2. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Close race. Improvato stays on the track and takes the race. So Improvato crashed, got its act together, stayed on the track, won a close race. We're going to switch lanes and then see if the Lamborghini can take the race, or if we are going to have a third and final race. So the Improvato in lane 1, the Lamborghini in lane, the Lamborghini's in lane 1, Improvato's in lane 2, race 2, here we go. Three, two, one, race. This time it's the Lamborghini smashing into the barrier and crashing, leaving the track altogether. So we will set those up. Both cars have had an opportunity to crash. Maybe that's what happens when you haven't had a chance to race in quite some time. But we will line them up again. And this Lamborghini needs to stay on the track. If the Lamborghini crashes, it's disqualified. Here we go. Lamborghini lane 1, Improvato lane 2. Three, two, one, race. Another close race, but the Lamborghini took it. We are going to race 3, and this is how it should be with championship cars. These cars have all proven themselves on the track at one point or another, and they are going head-to-head here in this first race, this first champion versus champion tournament of champions matchup. We're going to switch the lanes once again. This time we've got the Lamborghini in lane 2, the Improvato 1 in lane 1. Race number 3, here we go. Whichever car takes this is moving on. Three, two, one, race. So the Lamborghini took it, and the problem for the Improvato is that it was on the verge of crashing. It went up on 2 wheels. It was kind of hanging over the edge of the side of the track. But unfortunately for it, it corrected itself and stayed on the track. But the problem in doing that is that in staying on the track, it ultimately was too slow to win and make up the difference. So that's out. All right, next up, we're going to go with the Governor versus the Crazy Eights. And the Crazy Eights, remember, was that one with the just ridiculous engine with all the headers, and I have no idea what they were thinking or how that became one of our fastest cars, but it was. So Crazy Eights is going to be in lane number 2. The Governor, which was that kind of extended Cadillac Batmobile looking car, that is going to be in lane 1. So Governor in lane 1 and Crazy Eights in lane 2. Race 1. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Woo. Okay, I'm talking about the Crazy Eights, but it took that race. These cars are smooth. I didn't hear any rattling, anything. Just too smooth, just silky smooth performances from these cars. But Crazy Eights took it. And now we will line these cars up in the opposite lanes. Crazy Eights in lane 1. The Governor in lane 2. Race number 1. Here we go. I'm sorry. Race number 2. The Governor needs to take this in order to force a third race. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. The Governor did take that race and took it by a pretty wide margin. So, Crazy Eights, I don't know what to make of it. The Governor, I don't know what to make of that. We've had, that was a bad performance from the Crazy Eights. So we're going to see. We're switching lanes for this third and final race. We've got the Governor in lane 1, Crazy Eights back in lane 2, race 3. Here we go. Three, 2, 1, race. The Governor took it in another silky smooth trip down the track. The Governor took it, and so we've got the Governor moving on. Next up, we're going to have the Chevrolet, which is that long, flat race car, against the, we'll put it up against the Monoposto. And this is the other Monoposto, not the one that Roughshod picked a few weeks ago. This is the other Monoposto, which is a former champion, former At the Track Live champion. So we've got the Chevrolet in lane 1. We've got the orange Monoposto in lane 2, race 1. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Whoa. Okay. So the Chevrolet took that race, and that was the first race so far today where we have seen what I would say is championship speed. Those cars were both fast, and that was a quick race. You can just tell sometimes there's a difference, like the Governor and the Crazy Eights had a good race, a good competitive race, but it was not a fast race. Those two cars just now, that was a fast pass that they just made. So hopefully we'll see more of that. We're going to go get them lined up for race number 2. The Chevrolet is already up 1 race to none. It is locked into lane number 2. The Monoposto is lined up in lane number 1. Race 2, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Well, those cars are fast, but the Chevrolet was faster, and it is moving on. It is also wedged beneath the finish barrier at the end of the track, but I mean way under. That's interesting. All right, so we have a car that's looking fast, and these cars have been champions, were champions, so there's no reason why they shouldn't look fast, but that was a particularly fast race. All right, next up we're going to go with the this Jaguar Type D against that 68 Camaro. And this is, I guess, kind of interesting because we've got two cars that are based on real cars, especially in an environment where fantasy cars tend to be the ones making all the noise. But that Jaguar, it's a metal-on-metal car, so it's going to be heavy. It's going to be heavier than this Camaro. The Camaro's in lane 1. The Jaguar's in lane 2. The Jaguar's the car with the single fin at the back on the right side. So the Jaguar's in lane 2. Camaro in lane 1. Race 1. Here we go. Three, 2, 1, race. Wow, look at this Jaguar come all the way back to the start line. That is something that only the fastest cars do, that they hit that barrier at the end and bounce all the way back. It is Isaac Newton's third law of motion. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And they hit that barrier, that's the action. The reaction is them coming back. And when they roll all the way back, it just speaks to how fast and with how much force they hit that barrier at the end. So the Jaguar has taken the first race, and we are going to set these cars up again, switch lanes, and we will see if the Camaro, which is now in lane 2, can turn this into a race. So the Jaguar's in lane 1 with its single fin and its all metal body against the Camaro, the 68 Camaro in lane 2, race 2. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Much closer race, but the Jaguar still took it, and this Jaguar, what is it? The Jaguar D-Type moves on. The Camaro, once again, returns back to the garage. Next up, we are going to go with the Lolux, one of our original fastest in fleet cars, against the Thunderstreak, which is the kind of fantasy F1 car. And we will see if the Lolux still has what it takes, because I do remember that for a couple of weeks, and first of all, the Lolux was a car that was recommended by someone who had seen it do well on a gravity track. So it's, I guess, a gravity track performer and a drag track performer. That's an unusual combo, but here we are. Lolux in lane 1, the Thunderstreak in lane 2, race number 1. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. And the Thunderstreak crashed, which is something that it did in the episode where it won the race. It did have a tendency to crash, but it also, when it stayed on the track, happened to be a pretty fast car. So we are going to line these up again. Now, if the Thunderstreak crashes twice, it is going to be done. That's it. And we will move on, but it's going to have the opportunity to redeem itself right here on the track. Thunderstreak set up in lane 2. Once again, it's going to have to stay on the track. The Lolux in lane 1. And here we go. Lolux lane 1, Thunderstreak lane 2. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. That was a ridiculously slow performance by both cars, but hey, so they both crossed the finish line. So the Lolux won. The Thunderstreak crossed the finish line. And just, I mean, that was so slow. It was easily the slowest race I've seen in a while. And it's surprising coming from two cars that, championship caliber cars. But, okay, either way, Lolux is up by 1. I still, so far, the Chevrolet and that Jaguar, 2 fastest cars so far out of the gate. All right, Lolux now in lane 2, and Thunderstreak in lane 1. Can the Thunderstreak come back and make it happen? Can it stay lined up is a bigger question. All right, Thunderstreak lane 1. Lolux lane 2. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. that was a better performance, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be enough to dethrone any of the Chevrolet or that Jaguar. But you know, hey, the Lolux moved on, and that's all you have to do. Just win your race and let everything else kind of fall into place where it may. All right, we have. Let's go with the McAllister Motors Superfin against the, what is this one? The Road Rocket. The Road Rocket is the car that had the plastic piece that lifted up, funny car style. So we'll see what's happening there. We got the Road Rocket in lane number 1. We have the McAllister Motors Superfin in lane 2. All right, here we go. Race number 1. 3, 2, 1, race. The McAllister Motors Superfin took it, even though this Road Rocket hit the end, bounced all the way back, came back, but it did not. It's fine that it had that much force, that much energy, that much momentum, but it still did not end up beating the McAllister Superfin from the Fast and Furious Netflix show. All right, we're switching lanes. The, what was it, Road Rocket, whatever it was, is in lane number 2, and the McAllister Superfin is in lane 1, hoping to take this race right now. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. And the McAllister Superfin crashed, but it left the track, so we'll just restart that race. Christopher's asking about the weight. We did weigh those two before we came out to the track, and I believe the West Coast Flyer was somewhere around the 36 gram range, and I think the Loco Motorin was a little heavier. They weren't too much. There wasn't too much difference in the weight. All right, here we go. We're setting this race up again. It is the McAllister Motors Superfin in lane 1 and the Road Rocket or whatever in lane 2. And the McAllister Superfin's up 1-0. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. This Road Rocket, it started closing the gap toward the end, but not fast enough because it lost. So it is out. We have the McAllister Superfin is in, and it is going to be moving on to challenge another car, but we still have plenty to go. So let's go ahead and I'm kind of curious. We'll skip ahead, so interrupt the sort of champions run with, let's see, we'll take Caitlin's Corvette, and let's put that up against we'll put that up against the Group C Fantasy car. So we're going Group C Fantasy, which was one of our former champions, up against Caitlin's Greenwood Corvette. So we are going to put the Group C Fantasy car in lane 1. Got that lined up. And the Corvette is going to be in lane number 2. Got that lined up. Let's get it in there. All right, ready to go. We've got the Corvette in lane 2. We've got the Group C Fantasy car in lane 1. Race 1, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Good speed from both cars. Group C Fantasy took it, but that is just race number 1 of 2. We are going to see what happens once we switch lanes and see whether or not the Corvette can take 2 races in a row. And as I say every single week, it is not unusual for a car to lose the first race and then come out on top in the second and third race. All right, here we go. Get these cars lined up, ready to race on this 100th episode, this monster of a tournament, champion versus champion, and viewer picks. So we've switched it up. We've got the Corvette in lane 1. We have the Group C Fantasy car in lane 2. Race number 2. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Group C Fantasy pulls it out. 2 wins in a row. It is moving on with its fellow former championship cars. So we are one step closer to seeing which of these cars is going to come out on top in the champions, the tournament of champions. And the Group C Fantasy car is moving on. So we've got the Group C Fantasy moving on. And let's go ahead and we're going to go with, how about we take Never Ending's Flash Drive. And such a unique, interesting looking car. We'll send that up against, how about the Flash Drive against the What 4.2, which was our original fastest in fleet car. It was the first time, it wasn't the first champion, it was the first time that I came up with the concept and the idea of fastest in fleet car. That a car is going to win a tournament and then take on the other cars that win the tournament in the following weeks. So this was the first one, the What 4.2. It is a fantasy car. It's very strange looking, as fantasy cars tend to be, against the Flash Drive. So Never Ending's Flash Drive against the What 4.2, our original fastest in fleet car. The What 4.2 is in lane 1. The Flash Drive is in lane 2. Race number 1. Here we go. Three, 2, 1, race. Wow. That race was close. The What 4.2 took it though. So we are going to switch lanes. And we are going to see if the Flash Drive can take these next 2 races. If it can, then it will move on. If it can't, then it will join a bunch of the other cars that had solid performances but just couldn't get past their opponents. All right, we've got the Flash Drive set up this time in lane 1. We have the What 4.2 set up in lane 2. And this is race 2. Here we go. Three, 2, 1, race. And the What 4.2, our original fastest in fleet car, pulled out that race. And so it is going to be moving on. And we are going to see what happens next. All right, let's go with the this unique matchup. This is what Christopher, he had picked both of these. The West Coast Flyer, which is the train that he picked. And then we had the Locomotorin, which is another steam or train that is modeled after Thomas the Tank Engine. We are going to see which of these 2 trains is going to be moving on in the tournament. We've got the West Coast Flyer set up in lane 2. We have this locomotoring Thomas the Tank Engine. Let me make sure. Oh, nope, I've got to use the taller acrylic cover with the Thomas train. So let me get that set up. This is a taller train. So here we go. We are ready to go. We have the West Coast Flyer in lane 2. We have the Thomas, the tank engine in lane 1. Race 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Locomotoring takes it. So that is race 1. Locomotoring, the one that is designed like Thomas the tank engine. That is the train that took that race, train versus train. And now we are going to see what happens when we switch lanes. So now locomotoring is in lane 2 and the West Coast Flyer is in lane 1. These two are ready to go. So West Coast Flyer lane 1 and the locomotoring in lane 2. Race 2, here we go. Three, two, one, race. And it was close, but the locomotoring pulled it out. And we'll be moving on. The West Coast Flyer and will join the other cars that could not take out their opponents today. We are now going to go and take a look at the Track Tune versus the Chaparral. So the Track Tune was the convertible that beat out the Draftnator and became our fastest in fleet champion, but it was a very short-lived title because then it came up against the Blitzspeeder and the Blitzspeeder took it out, and that was that. That was a wrap, a total and complete wrap. It began the Blitzspeeder's dominance. So maybe if the Track Tune hadn't had to face the Blitzspeeder, it would have had a longer run, but that's how the chips fell. So now the Track Tune is lined up in lane 1. It is the first time we've seen it on the track since it lost to the Blitzspeeder, and it's going up against the Chaparral 2, which is that metal on metal convertible that weighed, I believe it weighed about 40 ounces. So it's heavy, but it's small. So let's see if heavy and small can get the job done against the Track Tune with the faster than ever wheels. So Track Tune lane 1, Chaparral 2 in lane 2. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Very close race, as you can see by the solid red light. The Track Tune took the race. And now we are going to switch lanes and see if the Track Tune is going to make it 2 in a row, or if we are going to have a third and final race. Track Tune lane 2, Chaparral 2 in lane 1. Race number 2, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Chaparral takes it, and we are going to a third race. And once once again, these cars, some of these cars are smooth. Some of these cars, you can hear them rattling down the track and just making all kinds of noise. And then some of the cars, like the Governor and a couple of the others, are just smooth. And we are going to switch these lanes up right here, and we are going to have, let's see, the Chaparral 2 is going back to lane 2. And the Track Tune is in lane 1. Race number 3, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. The Chaparral takes it, so it's smaller, but it's heavier, but it's faster. There we go. We have the Chaparral 2 moving on, and now we only have a handful of cars left to take a look at before we move all the way on. So let's go with, here's the interesting how it just shook out. So we have Roughshode's pick, which is the Formula Solar, I believe is the one he picked. Yeah, the Formula. So Roughshode's pick is the Formula Solar, and we'll put that up against this other one, the Solar Reflex. So solar versus solar. The Formula Solar, which is that skateboard with the skinny wheels, against the former fastest in fleet champion, the Solar Reflex. So we are going to put Formula Solar in lane 2. And again, my concerns are just those skinny little wheels. And then we are going to put the Solar Reflex in lane 1. And I have no concerns there. But let's see what happens. Race number 1. We have the Solar Reflex in lane 1, Formula Solar in lane 2. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Haha! Roughshod, he took a gamble with the car with the skinny disc wheels that have never performed well on the track. And sure enough, this is why we race the cars, because the Formula Solar with those skinny little wheels took the race. So we are going to set up for race number 2 and see if it can make it a clean sweep. 2-0. So we've got the Formula Solar in lane 1. We have the Solar Reflex in lane 2. Here we go, race number 2. Three, two, one, race. Whoa. Okay, that was not even close. The Formula Solar destroyed the Solar Reflex. I mean, that was, I didn't even have to watch the end of the race. By the midway point, it was clear which car was winning, and it was not going to be the Solar Reflex. So we've got Roughshode's Formula Solar moving on. Next up, let's see, we've got 5 more of the champion cars to race, and then we're going to start narrowing this down. We're going to go with 2 trucks. We're going to go with the Pterotractyl versus the Draftnator. Now the Draftnator, if we had to rank these, we would say it'd be the Blitz Speeder, the Gazella R, and then after that, in terms of dominance, the Draftnator would be 3rd, easily. And we're going to see if the Draftnator's got anything left in the tank, but it's going up against the Pterotractyl, a car that was a champion before we started calculating and counting and naming the fastest in fleet cars. So the Pterotractyl is in lane 2. We've got the Draftnator in lane 1. Race 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Uh-oh. The Draftnator remembered who it is and brought back some of that old championship speed, blew out the Pterotractyl with complete and total ease. So we are going to switch lanes right now. We're going to put the Pterotractyl in lane 1. We are going to put the Draftnator in lane 2. And we are going to find out who's moving on. Here we go. Draftnator lane 2, Pterotractyl lane 1. 3, 2, 1, race. So that race was much closer, but as you can tell from the solid red light, that the Draftnator did in fact take the race. So the Pterotractyl will join some of the other cars that came in second, and the Draftnator will go there. We are down to, we're going to go with the Mazda Miata against the BMW M3. So again, 2 more cars that are based on actual cars, real world cars, and cars that were both champions. So we're going to go with the BMW in lane number 1, the Mazda in lane 2. Here we go. Race 1. Mazda lane 2, BMW lane 1. 3, 2, 1, race. That BMW took it, rattled its way down the track, but it took it. It doesn't matter how you get down there, but if you get down and cross the finish line first, hey, that is all that matters. BMW is going to switch lanes. We're going to put it in lane number 2. And the Mazda will be in lane number 1. Let's get these cars lined up. We are just a race away from moving into our second round. And the BMW's lined up in lane 2. The Mazda's lined up in lane 1. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Woo. And the Mazda crashed into the barrier, flew off the track, and so we will just restart that race. And hopefully the Mazda decides to hang around, stay with us on the track this time around. We have the BMW, the M3 in lane 1 and lane 2, and the Mazda is once again lined up in lane number 1. All right, here we go. Race number 2. 3, 2, 1, race. That BMW is not playing around. So the BMW has made it. The Mazda was beaten and is going back into the garage. And now we've got a handful of cars left that are going to be racing. Now, the one car that was left that hadn't raced yet, was the Gazella. And so we're going to have the Gazella go up against, the Lolux. Nah, that's too easy. Let's have the Governor go up against the Lamborghini Sesto Elemento. The Gazella R, back on the track after it was embarrassed by the Blitz Speeder. Don't know what happened. I mean, the Gazella was just destroying cars week after week after week, and then had its chance to take out the Blitz Speeder again and just choked. Absolutely choked. It was the worst performance the Gazella's ever had. But hey, there's always a chance for redemption. The Gazella R is in lane 1. The Lamborghini Sesto Elemento is in lane 2. Race 1, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. That race was close, as we expect championship matchups to be, but the Gazella R took it. And the Gazella R, we'll find out if it's still got its old, did it get its swagger back, or is it just setting itself up for another embarrassment later in later rounds? We don't know yet. We don't know. But the Gazella is going to be in lane 2. And let me grab the Lamborghini Sesto Elemento, which was also a former championship car. It is going to be in lane number 1. Get these cars lined up and ready to go. All right, here we go. Race number 2, Gazella in lane 2, Lamborghini Sesto Elemento in lane 1. Three, two, one, race. Lamborghini takes it, and what we saw with the Gazella is something we saw in that race against the Blitzspeeder. It came out of the launcher and it went up on 2 wheels, and then it eventually got itself right. But the problem is, by the time it did that, the Lamborghini had already passed it. And that is exactly what we saw when the Gazella raced against the Blitzspeeder. It just got bad launches. And during the time it was champion, the Gazella was, I don't want to say famous for, but known for getting solid launches. And that is really one of the ways, I mean, not one of the ways, that's the way that you win races on our track, is getting solid launches and quickly correcting course if you get a bad launch. But when you're talking about these high-level races and these fast cars, you cannot afford a bad launch. And that's what the Gazella had. So this is race number 3. We've got the Gazella R in lane 1. We've got the Lamborghini Sesto Elemento in lane 2. If the Gazella doesn't get its act together, it's going home again. So here we go. Lamborghini lane 2, Gazella R lane 1. Three, two, one, race. Good launch, good result if you were rooting for the Gazella. So the Gazella has proven that if it can get a good solid launch, it can win. And it can be and look as dominant as it did back in its I want to say its glory days a couple of months ago. But that's it. It's got to get a solid launch. So we've seen that the Gazella can be beaten if it gets a shaky launch, and we've seen shaky launches from the Gazella way too often. All right, next up, we're going with the Governor and the Chevrolet. 2 of these cars that are they look to be about the same size. They're very long, stretched out cars. The Chevrolet, though, is low and sleek, and I think is one of the fastest cars that we've seen today. Can it keep that up, or was that just a one-off performance? I don't know. We're about to find out. We've got the Governor, which is that plastic-bodied, stretched-out kind of Cadillac Batmobile-looking car. That is in lane 2. The Chevrolet is in lane 1. Race 1, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. The Governor with that plastic body, took the race. We are going to switch sides, switch lanes, and see if the governor can take a clean sweep. I don't think we've had too many of those. We've had a lot of these races go to the third and final race, which is cool. I like that. Shows that we've got a good solid field of cars. All right, Chevrolet's in lane 2, Governor's in lane 1, race 2 here. 3, 2, 1, race. The governor takes it again. So we've got the governor moving on. We have the Chevrolet eliminated. And while I'm thinking about it, I have the let me grab. Oh yeah, I see the Chevrolet wedged itself underneath the block at the back. All right, we've got that out of the way. The Chevrolet is joining the other cars in the garage, watching from the sidelines as this tournament of champions, this monster of a tournament that we're having. This is something that we have not done before. Usually, we just take the handful of cars that we're introducing new into the fleet, and then we add those to the viewer picks. We have a nice, concise, tight race, but now this is going longer and stronger because we've got to go through all 23 championship cars plus our viewer picks to find out which car is the definitive at the track live champion. So we've got a handful more. We're going to go with the Group C Fantasy car against the Chaparral 2 and see which car is going to move on, which car is going to be eliminated. Chaparral 2 is going to be in lane 2. Just makes sense. And we're going to have the Group C Fantasy car in lane 1. This is a car that has been requested and frequently picked. So the Group 1 Fantasy car is in lane 1. The Chaparral 2, that metal on metal, small, heavy car, is in lane 2. Let's go. 3, 2, 1, race. Oh, that small, heavy Chaparral car is not playing around. It's small, it's heavy, it's fast. That's all you need to know. And it blew the doors off of the Group C Fantasy car. And we are going to race number 2. And the Group C Fantasy car had better find another gear to hit. Otherwise, it is going to be a fast exit. So we're going to have the Group C Fantasy car now in lane 2. And we will have the Chaparral 2 in lane 1. It's been impressive. It was impressive before. It's still impressive. And we're going to see if it can keep it up. Chaparral 2 in lane 1. Group C Fantasy car in lane 2. Race 2. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. So the Chaparral 2 takes it, and much like what we saw with the Gazella, the Group C Fantasy car, it came out, went down the track, kind of went up on 2 wheels, had to straighten itself out, but it was already losing. So all that going up on 2 wheels, all that did was just give the Chaparral 2 a chance to open up an even bigger lead, which it did, and it won. So Group C Fantasy, gone. Next up, we're going to go Low Lux versus Draftnator. We're going to go with the 2 trucks that are left in the competition, but in just a matter of minutes, there will only be one. Which one will it be? Will it be the Low Lux in lane 2? Or will it be the Draftnator out of lane 1? We're going to find out right here. as soon as I can get the Draftnator. Here's another thing about the Draftnator. It's an X-Racers car, which is a series that has these translucent plastic bodies, but also the Blitzspeeder is an X-Racers car. Interesting. All right, so we've got the Draftnator in lane 1. We've got the Lolux in lane 2. Race 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Draftnator takes it. We are going to switch lanes and see if the Lolux can come back and take the race to force a third and final race, or is the Draftnator going to get a clean sweep? We are about to find out. The Lolux it's just a strange car. It's part truck, part I don't know. It's just an odd car. When we were looking at it, I found it hard to describe, and I'm looking at it now. I still find it hard to describe, but it was at one point a fastest in-fleet champion. The Draftnator is it is probably the third best car we've ever seen on the track, but we'll see what it can do, if it can knock off the Lolux. So the Draftnator's in lane 2, Lolux in lane 1, race 2, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. The Draftnator takes it. That race was much closer, much closer than I would have expected, given how the first race turned out. But nevertheless, the Lolux lost, and let me go grab it, is going to be heading back to the garage. Meanwhile, we are steadily narrowing down the field. We started off with 27 cars, and we are down to 3, 6, 9, 10, and we're gonna go with let's go with Roughshod's Solar Reflex. I'm sorry, no, the Formula Solar against the McAllister Superfin. How about that? So we've got the McAllister Superfin, which is the car from the Fast and Furious Netflix series, against the Formula Solar, which is the first car with these little skinny disc wheels that's ever performed this well on the track. Can it keep it up? We'll see. Formula Solar in lane 1. We've got the McAllister Superfin in lane 2. Race 1, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Once again, Formula Solar. This is a pretty interesting pick. I had my doubts. I had my complete doubts. I've been expressing it since the car was picked, since Roughshod picked it last week and said this was the car he was going with. I was worried about those wheels. Turns out on Wind Tunnel Wednesday, we put the car in the wind tunnel. I said everything looks good, but I'm worried about those wheels. Today, we put it on the track. I said, you know what? Looks good, but I'm worried about those wheels. Turns out, I shouldn't have been worried about the wheels. Turns out, all the other cars should be worried about the Formula Solar, because it is putting up incredible performances, and it's taken one from the McAllister Superfin, and the McAllister Superfin is lined up in lane 1. The Formula Solar is lined up in lane 2. Race 2, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Closer race, but the Formula Solar takes it, and Roughshods pick is moving on in this tournament of champions. Maybe the Formula Solar is going to become a champion. Roughshod is going to have to catch this on the replay and see how impressive his pick is. But we are now cutting it down. We are going to go with the What 42, our original fastest in fleet car, against this Thomas the Tank Engine Locomotion. So we are going Locomotion versus What 42, our original, the very first fastest in fleet car. Not our first champion, but it was our first fastest in fleet car. And that's important. That's historic. There will never be another first fastest in fleet car, regardless of what happens today. This car is going down in history. Let me change out this acrylic cover to the taller one to accommodate this giant train. And here we go. Race number 1, we've got the Locomotion, the Thomas the Tank Engine train in lane 2, and we have the What 42, our original fastest in fleet car, in lane 1. Race 1, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Not even almost, kind of close a little bit. The What 42 blew the tank engine off the tracks, and we are going to see if something changes in this next race. I don't expect that. It's possible. Anything's possible, but is it going to happen? I don't think so. But this is why we race the cars, because you just never know. We are going to put the What 42 in lane 2, and we're going to put the tank engine in lane 1, the Locomotion. And Locomotion beat out the West Coast Flyer earlier, but can it beat the What 42? I don't think so. Here we go. What 42 in lane 2, Locomotion in lane 1. Here we go. Three, 2, 1, race. So the What 42 took that. The What 42 is fast. Here's the thing about the What 42. The What 42 never raced other cars beyond, well, no, did it? Well, if it's our first fastest in fleet champion, it did. So I take that the whole thing I was just about to say, forget it, because it did race other cars. All right, we are going to go with the Jaguar Type D, which is the car with the fin, the metal-on-metal car with the fin, against the BMW M3 GT2. So let's get these cars ready, switch out this acrylic cover, and get them lined up. We are going to have, and once again, we have 2 cars that are based on real cars. So the BMW is in lane 1. It was definitely one of our fastest in fleet champions. It represented for a good little while, long enough for me to make little promo advertisements and posts about it on Instagram. And you can follow us on Instagram at About Aerodynamics. All right, so we've got the Jaguar in lane 2. We've got the BMW in lane 1. Race 1, here we go. Three, 2, 1, race. The Jaguar took it, another metal-on-metal car, and the Jaguar is the one with the fin on the right side, kind of like the Monoposto, but a little different. But the Jaguar, very impressive. It's our second metal-on-metal car, along with the Chaparral 2, to do well, but it's got to win 2 races, and that was just 1. So the Jaguar is now lined up in lane 1. We have the BMW M3 in lane 2, race 2, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. As you can see by the solid red light, the BMW took that race, so we are going to a third and final race between the Jaguar and the BMW M3. And we are going to find out here which of these cars is going to be moving on as we get this championship situation whittled down to just a few cars. We've got the BMW, come on, line up, stay put, against the Jaguar. All right, here we go. Jaguar in lane 2, BMW lane 1, race 3, here we go. Three, two, one, race. And the Jaguar takes it. The Jaguar will be moving on. We have 3, 6, we have 7 cars left. We are working our way down to find out which of these cars in the Tournament of Champions, which of these cars is going to be the car. And one of these cars, interestingly enough, is a viewer pick. It is Roughshods pick. It is the Formula Solar. So now here's what we are down to. We're down to the Governor, the Jaguar, the What For 2, the Formula Solar, the Draftnator, the Gazella R, and the Chaparral 2. We are going to go right now. We're going to go with a little metal on metal action. We're going to go Chaparral 2 against this Jaguar and see what happens. Chaparral 2, metal on metal. It is short. It is heavy. It is fast. We are going to see what it can do. The Jaguar, it is metal on metal. It is just a little bit longer than the Chaparral, but it's been representing pretty well on the track. So this is race 1. We've got the Chaparral 2 in lane 1. We've got the Jaguar D-Type in lane 2. Race 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Chaparral, smooth and dominant, and takes that first race. We are going to switch lanes. We will put the Chaparral 2 in lane 2. I don't know if I have the Chaparral 1 or if I've ever seen the Chaparral 1. Maybe it was never made into a Hot Wheels car. Maybe it doesn't exist. I don't know. All right, and we've got the Jaguar in lane 1, Chaparral 2 in lane 2, race 2, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Not even almost, kind of close. The Chaparral 2 takes that race with ease, and the Jaguar gets set aside, and there will only be one metal on metal representative moving ahead. We are going to go next. We're going to go with the Gazella R against the Governor. So these two black cars, the Gazella, the flaws in the Gazella game have been exposed, and it turns out that it's all about the launch. If the Gazella gets a solid launch, it can beat any car on the track, but it's not guaranteed to get a consistent solid launch. So we've got the Gazella R in lane 1. We've got the Governor in lane 2. Here we go, race number 1. Three, two, one, race. Close race. Gazella R takes it. We are going to switch lanes. Both cars got a good, solid launch, and we know with the Gazella, that is the most important factor. Can it get a good, solid launch? If it does, it's good to go. and can beat anybody. The Gazella R is the second greatest car that we've ever seen on our track. Number 3 is the Draftnator, 2 is the Gazella, and number 1, of course, is the Blitz Speeder. The Gazella is now in lane 2, and the Governor is in lane 1. Race 2, here we go. Three, two, one, race. And the Governor takes it. I didn't see any problem with the Gazella's launch. It just lost. So this is the thing. The Gazella, it just looked so. It was so dominant for so long. It seemed that, wow, this car really just is not going to be beaten. Turns out, yeah, it can be beaten. It can definitely be beaten. So the Gazella is now in lane 1. The Governor is in lane 2. And here we go. This is race number 3. We are going to find out. Here we go. We're going to find out, Never Ending. We're going to find out if the Gazella can make a comeback. It's just that we're starting to see these flaws in its game that we didn't see for that whole 16 weeks when it was dominant. But it's got to win this one. So the Gazella's in lane 1, and the Governor's in lane 2. Here we go, race number 3. Three, two, one, race. The Gazella takes it. The Gazella is moving on. So we are down to 5 cars. We've got the Chaparral, we've got the Draftnator, the Formula Solar, the What 4.2, and the Gazella. Right now, we are going to go. We're going to go with Formula Solar, Roughshods pick, against the Draftnator. The Draftnator, which, as I mentioned before, is the 3rd greatest car in At the Track Live history. Can the Formula Solar do what I would have thought was impossible? I'm shocked that it's here. Can it take these little skinny disc wheels and do something amazing? Can it be amazing today, right now? We are going to find out. Okay, Formula Solar is in lane 2 with its skinny wheels and its low, sleek profile. We've got the Draftnator in lane 1. Here we go, race 1. Three, two, one, race. The Formula Solar with its skinny little wheels. Roughshods pick. He went out on a limb. He decided, you know what? I'm gonna throw out all the rules. I'm gonna throw out whatever. I'm gonna just take a chance. He took a chance on the Formula Solar, and it is 1 win away from knocking off the 3rd greatest car in At the Track Live history, the Draftnator. But the Draftnator's not done. 1 win is just 1 win. You've got to have 2. Draftnator is going to be lined up in lane 2. The Formula Solar is lined up in lane 1. Skinny wheels and all, ready to rock, ready to move down the track, ready to take out the Draftnator. Here we go. Formula Solar, lane 1. Draftnator, lane 2. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. The Draftnator, not ready to go out just yet. We're going to a 3rd and final race, as it should be with cars at this level. These cars are the best of the best. These are the fastest of the fast. There are 865 different Hot Wheels cars in the All About Aerodynamics At the Track Live fleet, and we are down to the last 5 in this champion, this all champion, every car that's raced today, aside from a couple of viewer picks, have been champions. We've had 22 or 23 champions, cars that have won tournaments, proven themselves on the track, and we are going to find out now if the Draftnator is going to move on or if Roughshod's Formula Solar is going to be the car that is going to get the job done. Here we go. We've got the Formula Solar in lane 2. We have the Draftnator in lane 1. Race 3. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Woo. That was close, but the Draftnator pulled it out right at the end, and we are now down to our final 4. We have the Chaparral 2, we have the What For 2, the Gazella, and the Draftnator. Let's go with the What For 2 and the Chaparral. The Chaparral 2 and the What For 2. That 2 is what's making me pick this matchup. The 2s. What For 2, Chaparral 2. Chaparral 2 is lining up in lane 2. The What For 2, our original fastest in fleet car, is lined up in lane 1. So we have Chaparral 2 lane 2, What For 2 lane 1, race 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Chaparral in a race that was not really even close. So, this Chaparral, this metal on metal, this little heavy Chaparral car is impressive. It is one win away from being in the finals. So we're switching lanes. We're going to put the Chaparral 2 in lane 1. The What For 2 is going to be in lane number 2. Chaparral 2, lane 1. What For 2, lane 2. Race number 2. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. The Chaparral 2 takes out the What For 2 and has locked in its place in the finals. The next semifinal race is going to be the Draftnator versus the Gazella R. I didn't plan it like this, but this is how it worked out. When I said that the cars were ranked in terms of fastest cars on the track in the history of the track, it goes Blitzspeeder number 1, Gazella number 2, Draftnator number 3. So now we're going to go Draftnator versus Gazella. Maybe the Draftnator can change that. Maybe the Draftnator can make itself the second greatest car in All About Aerodynamics at the Track Live history. We are going to put the Gazella R in lane 1. We are going to put the Draftnator in lane 2. Is the Draftnator going to change the spot? This is car number 2 and car number 3, the second and third greatest cars we've ever seen on the track. The Gazella R in lane 1. We've got the Draftnator in lane 2. Race 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Super close race, but as you can see from the solid red light, the Gazella R has taken it, and we are going to switch lanes and see if the Gazella R can get past the Draftnator and move to the finals against the Chaparral 2. The Chaparral 2, very impressive performance. Draftnator in lane 1, Gazella R in lane 2. Can the Gazella R make this comeback and make it to the finals? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Gazella R in a clean sweep guarantees that it is going to be in the finals. It is maintaining its spot as the second greatest at the track live All About Aerodynamics performer we've seen. And now the finals. We've gone through all of these matchups. We started off with 23 championship cars. We had 4 other viewer picks, and we have raced them all. We've gotten down to this point where it is the Chaparral 2, this metal on metal, this heavy metal on metal little car, against the Gazella R, which is the second greatest car in the history of At the Track Live. We are going to put the Gazella R in lane 1. The Chaparral 2 is in lane 2. Race number 1. This is the finals. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Chaparral 2 takes it. Can the Gazella R win 2 races in a row? It's possible. It's possible. Is it likely? I don't know, because the Chaparral 2, the Gazella R got a good launch. There was nothing wrong with the launch that we can point to. So it got a good solid launch, but it was still beaten. So what does that mean? That means that it's going to need to pull out something very special to beat this Chaparral twice. Can it be done? We'll see. The Gazella R is now lined up in lane 2. We have the Chaparral 2 in lane 1. This is race number 2. This is the finals. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. The Gazella R, by what looked to be a nose, beats out the Chaparral to force a third and final race, which is absolutely how it should be. We've got the 2 Tournament of Champion cars battling it out, going down to a third and final race. This is what we wanted to see. We are going to find out which of these cars is going to win our Tournament of Champions. The Chaparral 2 is now in lane 2. It's metal on metal. It's short, it's heavy, but it's fast. And we've got the Gazella. It is our, it was champion for 16 weeks. It was embarrassed, and it's coming back trying to redeem itself. We've got the Gazella in lane 1. We've got the Chaparral 2 in lane 2. Race 3. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. By a nose, again, the Chaparral 2 takes the race and is our Tournament of Champions winner. And that is significant. But now, of course, all it means is that the Chaparral 2 is taking on the final boss car, the grand champion, the fastest in fleet title holder, the Blitz Speeder. We're going to see what's going to happen here. Is the Chaparral 2 going to be our new fastest in fleet car? If so, all it has to do, and that's, a tall order, is beat the Blitz Speeder twice. Chaparral 2 is lined up in lane 2. The Blitz Speeder, our fastest in fleet champion, is in lane 1. Blitz Speeder versus Chaparral 2 for the fastest in fleet title. This is it. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Wow, the Blitz Speeder crashes right out of the box. We haven't seen that. I don't recall the last time we saw the Blitz Speeder crash, but it left the track. It is our champion. We're going to set these cars up again. Chaparral 2 in lane 2. Blitz Speeder in lane 1. Get it lined up properly. Have to get these cars pressed right up against the launching block. All right, let's try this one more time. A little bit of drama here. Our fastest in fleet matchup. We have our Tournament of Champions winner, the Chaparral 2 in lane 2. We have the Blitz Speeder, our fastest in fleet champion, in lane 1, race 1. Here we go. Three, 2, 1, race. My word. I mean, the Blitz Speeder just destroyed the Chaparral 2. And the Chaparral 2 went nose to nose with the Gazella. The Chaparral 2 has been beating cars left and right just to get here to this matchup against the Blitz Speeder, just to find out what the Blitz Speeder is all about. And the Blitz Speeder is not about playing games on the track. The Blitz Speeder is about domination. It's about speed. It's about reducing the impact of drag, friction, and gravity to the extent that it can, and just blowing cars completely off the track. Now, the Chaparral 2 has to win 2 races from the Blitz Speeder, something only the Gazella has done before. The Chaparral 2 just beat the Gazella, so I don't know, I guess anything can happen, but the Blitz Speeder, that last race, my goodness. Okay, here we go. Blitz Speeder lane 2, Chaparral 2 lane 1. This is race number 2 for the fastest in fleet title. Here we go. Three, 2, 1, race. Was there ever any question? The Blitz Speeder, still the fastest in fleet car. Let me gather up all 27 of these cars and head back into the garage, take a look at the winners, the losers, the surprises, and wrap this up. So I'll be back in the garage in just a minute. This was an absolutely insane day of racing. We ended up, after all of that, that Tournament of Champions, we ended up at the same place that we started, with the Blitz Speeder being the absolute, unquestionable, fastest Hot Wheels car on the planet. Yeah, my never never endings is yeah, my knees. Yeah, that was a lot, but it was worth it to see some of those matchups. Um, but the Blitz Speeder is just so fast that no matter it happens like this seemingly every week. We find a car that is doing well, that looks fast, that's beating other cars, and then it gets to that matchup against the Blitz Speeder. Now the Blitz Speeder crashed in that first race, and maybe that was a bad sign. I thought maybe. Turns out no, it was nothing. The Blitz Speeder then comes back and I mean just blows the doors off of the Chaparral 2. And the Chaparral 2 had been doing very well. With its, again, I believe it's the one that was 40, it's 40.9 grams. And it is metal on metal. It is a fast car. It is a shorter car. I think against any car other than the Blitz Speeder, the Chaparral 2 is, that's the car. It beat out the Gazella. So now the Gazella, some of the lusters come off that car, because it's one thing when you've only lost to the Blitz Speeder, which everybody loses to the Blitz Speeder because it's the fastest car on the planet. But when you start losing to cars that are not the Blitz Speeder, now we have to, call some things into question. So the Chaparral 2 beat the Gazella. Does that mean that the Chaparral 2 is the second best car all time at the track live? It may be. It doesn't have that track record of that 16 weeks, because the Gazella was champion for 16 weeks, which is nothing to sneeze at. That's significant. But the Chaparral 2 beat it. And as in terms of a heavy car, this may be the best heavy car that we have, meaning over 40 grams. But, I mean, without question, I don't think there's ever been a car 40 grams or more that has been faster than this one, because this one went toe-to-toe with, it beat the Gazella. Now, the Gazella also had that matchup that we had. We had the 2-3 matchup that was the Gazella versus the Draftnator. And the Draftnator, based on its record and history, was the third greatest car in All About Aerodynamics at the track live history. And the Gazella, it was a close, the races were relatively close. The Gazella beat it. So the Gazella maintained its status as number 2. But then here came that Chaparral, and the Chaparral just took it out. Now, the big surprise of the day, the biggest surprise for me, I'd say the Chaparral was number 2. This was the biggest surprise of the day. And this is Roughshode's pick of the Formula Solar. It has the honor and distinction of being the first and only car with these disc wheels to do well on our track. And it didn't just do well, it got deep into the final group of cars, into like the quarterfinals. So this car, between the aerodynamics, I would love to see a version of this with just standard Hot Wheels wheels. Would it perform better? Would it be the same? Would it be slower? I don't know, but we put this car in the wind tunnel, and the airflow, because there's nothing to it. It's just like a skateboard, surfboard, and it's got this fin. But other than that, this car, I think, definitely overperformed and went beyond my expectations. So hopefully Roughshod will get to check this out, check out the replay, and see how his car performed, because it was absolutely on fire for most of the day. And then, once it got to that final few cars, it came up a little short, but for the most part, this is a big time victory for cars with little skinny disc wheels. So don't be afraid to pick those cars with those little skinny disc wheels, but do be afraid of this car, the Blitz Speeder. The Blitz Speeder is unquestionably the fastest Hot Wheels car on the planet Earth, and maybe in the galaxy. So let's just go that far. The fastest car in the galaxy. There's just nothing that we've seen from any other car to suggest that it's going to beat the Blitz Speeder. And I really need to go back and watch that episode where it lost to the Gazella to see how that could possibly have happened. Because we've seen separation. Ever since they had that rematch, we've seen separation. We've seen the Gazella lose again, and we've seen the Blitz Speeder just dominate every car that it's come up against. So, that is what we had today, our 100th episode, our Tournament of Champions. It was a wild, long marathon of races, and we got through it. And like I said, we ended up at the same place we started, with the Gazella being the number 2 car, but maybe not even the number 2 car, but the Blitz Speeder definitely being the number 1 car. That is what we know. So we are going to be back here for episode number 101 next week. On Wednesday, we have Wind Tunnel Wednesday. So if there's a car you're considering, you might want to go to atthetrack.live, select choose a car, go through, find the car that you want, that you're considering. Maybe there's 2 cars that you're thinking about. Drop the number into the chat on Wednesday. I will pull that car. We'll put it in the wind tunnel. And I'm telling you that we always put the Blitz Speeder into the wind tunnel first. And you can see the aerodynamic profile of the Blitz Speeder. Based on that, your car should have a similar aerodynamic profile if you expect it or hope that it's going to compete with the Blitz Speeder. So it's a good way to kind of get an idea about how your car may perform by seeing some of the, we go into more detail about the science of what we're seeing. And ultimately, it's about trying to figure out how to select cars that are going to be fast on the track. So, with all that, episode 100 is in the books. If you would like more information about All About Aerodynamics, our science program that teaches kindergarten through 6th grade students about physics-related topics and uses Hot Wheels cars, you can go to AA Aerodynamics on Instagram or aaAerodynamics.com for more information. You can join us on Wednesday for Wind Tunnel Wednesdays, where we will put cars into the wind tunnel and look at the aerodynamic profiles and the science behind drag and what we're seeing. And then join us again every Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific at the track live. We will be here. We'll be getting back to our normal format where I introduce new cars into the fleet, and we have viewer picks and we have races. Not as long as today's races, but we will have races, and that is what we do. Have fun with Hot Wheels cars, sprinkle in a little science, and that is that. So thank you for watching. If you want to watch any older episodes, any of the previous 99 episodes, go to our YouTube page, click the live tab, and boom, there you are. And other than that, until next week, I am Coach James for All About Aerodynamics at the Track Live and Wind Tunnel Wednesdays, and I will see you at the races.